Hey Facebook, Monday 8:15. This is Ian Grant, owner of Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior. And as usual, it looks like this lighting. I tell you what, one of those things. Hold on. Plus I gotta wait for everybody to get here. But I like this a lot better than, looks like my head is glowing. Anyways, you guys, Monday night, 8:15, we do this every Monday, and we've got some good questions for tonight. If you have your notifications turned on, then you'll know when I'm asking for your input on what you want me to talk about. So tonight we're going to talk about training multiple dogs. I'm assuming for a multi-dog house. We're going to get into some food aggression stuff and also some better leash walking. So just a little bit of housekeeping first, you guys. I get a lot of people that comment on the live stream, and they think that it's going on live when they watch it a day or two later. And I've had a couple people get a little upset with me with not answering questions. So I would just make sure that if you are watching this, or if you watch the live feeds, I would probably just make sure that you check out when it was recorded. So I think you guys all know me well enough to know that I try to get to everybody's questions the best that I can. So it's just one of those things. But anyways, I think we'll pretty much just get started. Training multiple dogs, you guys, can be daunting at times, and it also can be easy at times. I think once your foundation is set of what you're trying to train, then doing it with them together can be really a good, easy way to train them. So, let's say you're working on some impulse control or a place command. It looks pretty much the same, and you guys have seen a bunch of the videos that I've done with this with certain dogs. So I think when it comes to the place command, I think it's super duper important to do it one at a time first. Low level, if not zero distractions, whatever room that you're in doing it, in your house. I think that's a good start. And once you get that foundation set, then I would go on to the next dog, you guys, and work that dog and get that foundation set. So, if you want to work one dog completely until you feel like that dog has it, great. If you want to work one dog, do a lesson, put that dog away, get your other dog and do a lesson, and put that dog away and just kind of rotate, you can certainly do it that way at the same time, or do it that way throughout your routine. There's a lot of work that goes along with it, you guys, when it comes to multiple dogs, that's for sure. But, I think that in that specific case, hey Lauren, she's lighting it up again. I think in that specific case, if both dogs are doing okay with that place command kind of stuff, the impulse control, then it's time to put them together, next to each other. So I would create maybe a couple of beds, one for each dog, and have them tethered so they can't reach each other. Because sometimes dogs can get just distracted. If you've got younger dogs that may want to play, if you've got dogs that maybe don't get along, then you don't want them, looking at each other that way. Lauren is lighting it up with the hearts tonight. Thank you so much, Lauren. But, looking at it from that aspect, the more that you can do with your dogs together, the better. So if you can walk them together, great. If you can feed them together, great. If you can do an impulse control session with them together, great. The more that you can do together, the more it will create that pack mentality, family, whatever you want to call it. We can have that discussion for another night. But the more you separate the dogs, the more you can create competition and conflict. So if you have to separate your dogs for feeding, if you have to separate them when you walk them, you can certainly train all 5 dogs at once, Lauren. Absolutely, absolutely. Daniel, awesome. Awesome. Listening while walking my dog. That's so cool. Gotta love technology. But a lot of times I hear of dogs, multiple dog households where there's things that are not going well. And that can be a major problem because it's like as soon as there's a little scuffle, all of a sudden the separation happens. There's baby gates that go up. There is crates that are, it's this whole, we call it crate and rotate theory. And that can be a big, big problem because it creates more conflict. And if your dogs have a scuffle, I understand it's safety first and you got to keep everybody separate and make sure they don't come across each other. The downfall to that is that as soon as they have a scuffle and you separate each other, that's what they remember when they come back in towards each other. So instead of correcting that, let them chill out, which, if your dogs have a scuffle, to me, the best thing you can do is maybe tether them in the same room where they can't reach each other. Make sure that tether cannot come apart, anything like that. I know, Lauren, I certainly wish you guys were a lot closer, or I was a lot closer, because I could certainly help you guys out. No doubt. But I guess, I think Cindy was the one that was asking this question, training multiple dogs. I can't stress enough, the more that you do with them together, the better. So let me just kind of paint you a picture here of what I used to do before I guess I officially became a trainer. I was just doing a lot of boarding and daycare out in our backyard. And all the dogs were to arrive by 9 o'clock in the morning. And at 9 o'clock, I'd take everybody for a walk. And I can remember the days when I had 4 or 5 dogs and I thought that was a lot. Then 8 or 9 dogs was a lot. Then, 10 and 11, and then it got up to like 13, 14, and 15 dogs. And the thing is as I was working my skills walking the dogs, it was creating a different mindset with them as well. So it created more of a leadership mentality of mine. That was what was kind of being watered down to them. So we'd go for like an hour. I mean, everybody's on leash. There's sometimes where I could put 10 in one hand and 1 in the other, and the one dog on the left was probably causing as much drama as 10 on the right. I mean, sometimes that happens, and it goes along with it. So, after that hour walk, I would have all the daycare dogs. I would have their owners bring their breakfast, so they didn't get that breakfast first thing in the morning. They actually had to go for a walk first to earn their breakfast. And you'll see videos on YouTube of me feeding, I don't know, with 10 or 12 dogs at a time, and you could probably hear a pin drop because we did that all together too. We walked together. It was time for them to all feed together. I never had one issue of any food aggression whatsoever with all those dogs. And if you think about it, and my dogs were included in that too, plus some fosters here and there. If you think about it, that whole state of mind was created early on by 3 or 4 dogs, and it was carried on to 6 or 7, carried on to 9 or 10, carried on to 13 or 14. And that was just the vibe when it came to be feeding time. Now, in the videos, there's a couple things that I would do different these days that I did then, but I was just doing what I thought was best at the time, which you can't really, come down on yourself for something like that. But I made it work, and that was the important part. So if you get a chance, you guys go, maybe I'll put the link up for that video so you guys can check it out. But at the end of that feeding time, then I would give everybody some downtime. And it wasn't that long. I wish I would have done it longer, knowing now what I know. But I would do 15 minutes, half an hour, just kind of hanging out in the basement, doing some downtime, and then we'd head out back to the backyard. At that time, you guys, dogs are like zonked. The walk, the feeding. They had a little playtime in the morning while, the other dogs were arriving. So it's just one of those things that it just created this massive ripple effect through the entire group. Now, taking that aspect and putting it into the home life of, having multiple dogs, then yeah, it's one of those issues where as much as you can do everything together, that's going to create a better state of mind. But I also understand that if you have dogs that are fighting at home, you're probably going to need professional help, because I can sit here and tell you to tether the dogs, but that's not going to stop them from looking at each other and staring and then causing all sorts of issues. So you certainly have to be careful with what you're doing. And if you do have multiple dogs at home that are, causing issues, then you need professional help. I mean, I can't stress that enough. There's no magic wand here that I can wave and tell you, like, do X, Y, and Z, and then all will be right. But I can tell you that you know, if you get some professional help, then it will certainly help, and it might kind of open up your eyes to what's going on. But I feel for those people that have multiple dogs that have to rotate rooms and doors and crates and that kind of thing, because that is a headache. And we call that management, you know, because you're just managing the situation. And at some point management fails, and that's a scary thought, but it does. It's not 100%. It's just one of those things that happens. And, you know, for you, percentage-wise, I hope it doesn't fail, you know, for whoever's dealing with it. But it's just one of those situations that it's tough on anybody in the house, everybody in the house. It's tough on the dogs. It's just one of those situations. But it's it can be a touchy subject, that's for sure. But, you know, I always suggest, you know, if you have two dogs that are, you know, having scuffles at home, I think the best thing you can do is walk them together. So maybe you and your spouse or partner can walk the other dog, you know, and you're each walking with a dog on the outside of you, or whatever the case may be. But just starting that ball rolling of walking can certainly help. It makes such a huge difference, you guys. I can't stress it enough. You know, when it comes to that kind of thing. Hold on, I just gotta get this pulled up so I can see everybody's comments. I gotta get it on my computer because my phone won't show the complete comments. Maybe this will do it. Hold on, working at it. Working. And you guys, we get a lot of customers, a lot of clients that have multiple dog houses, and they're struggling one way or the other, and it's just one of those situations, you know. Good, Lauren. I'm glad you got some help for that too. That's fantastic. So, anyways, you guys, that's when it really comes down to, you know, training multiple dogs. You know, the next subject we're talking about is going to be food aggression. And you guys, that's a lot of it too. I mean, I've heard people say, you know, you can use a remote collar and that'll solve food aggression instantly. It can. But I'm not going to suggest anybody go out and get an e-collar and tell you what to do, because that would probably lead to more harm than good. And you don't need an e-collar for something like this. I don't feel like you do. I mean, the e-collar is great, but you know, when it comes to something like this, and you guys, sometimes food aggression can be caused by us sticking our hands in their food, you know, just to test, or we're gonna practice taking their food away. We're gonna practice petting them while they're eating. And you guys, none of those things are more unnatural. I mean, it is so bad, so bad. It's funny, and I probably mentioned it here, but it's been a long time. So I used to watch a lot of Discovery Channel stuff, and if you guys remember, they used to have, and maybe they still do. I don't watch anymore, but like the Big Cat Diary stuff. And I always used to be fascinated by that. And here's the thing, you know, watching that, whenever those animals would make a kill, you know, and the leaders of the pride, or whatever you want to call them, moved in to feed, the little ones, you know, the more submissive ones were in the back of their pride, right? So when the leaders were done eating, they'd back away from the food, from the carcass, and then everybody else would come in to feed. Not once did I ever see, like, an alpha lion pet or lick one of the more submissive ones while they eat. Never. It's unnatural. It's unnatural for us to touch an animal while they're eating. I mean, who wants to be petted while they're sitting down to breakfast in the morning, right? I mean, it's just weird. So looking at it from that aspect, it's completely unnatural, because, you know, it's easy for us to sit here and go, okay, what's the solution to food aggression? But you guys, let's back up a little bit and kind of you know, backtrack and look at maybe what's caused this, because maybe this is a part of the reason of, maybe this gives us part of the solution. So, you know, another thing too is that you didn't see any of the alpha lions kind of go, okay, can I stick my mouth back in without one of the submissive ones snapping at me? Or can I stick a paw in to see if one of the submissive ones will snap at me? They never do that, you guys. It's not part of their test. It is given permission to feed. That's what it's all about. So looking at it more from what the causes are, and to go along with it too, you guys, the causes of this is probably other aspects of what's going on at home, from resource guarding, which is really what this is. It's resource guarding. So it's, maybe it's a part of what's going on in everyday life of your interactions with your dog too. But how to solve it? I think solving anything comes with structure. There's got to be a structure involved to, how to accomplish this. I've never dealt with a food aggressive dog of my own that I can think of, and I think we had one dog that was food aggressive that came to us, and I started feeding that dog by hand, little by little by little by little, while it was staying with us, and it took a long time to get that dog to start to recover from it. It wasn't an overnight thing by any means. So, oh, Shelby, so this is you. Hold on, I gotta find your full comment. I posted the question about aggression. My Evie growls when you walk by her if she is eating a treat. My concern is bringing a baby into the situation and the baby goes near her while eating. Yeah, that is that would be a huge concern of mine. I think the first thing I would do is start practicing, because you have a baby. Now, you guys, for a second, I'm going to give her specific information or advice into her situation, okay? So don't misconstrue this as this is the solution for everything. I'm just giving her some advice based on the information that she's giving me here, okay? Because you've got a baby coming into the mix, any food that this dog ever gets, it should be in the crate. The other part of it is, there has to be a at least 10-foot radius around this baby when the baby comes. Yeah, and if you have to cover up that crate, then so be it. But babies are managing, right? When it comes to dogs, you just got to take that time to, if the baby goes near the dog either moves away or the baby gets picked up. But I think if the baby's out, the dog's got to be put up. You just can't take that chance. That's all there is to it. You can't take that chance. It's not fair to the dog, and it's not fair to the baby. Nobody. So I can't. Baby's out, dog goes up. That's all there is to it. But when it comes to actual feeding time, which I think this is something that you can practice twice a day, obviously, maybe once at the very least. You guys, when you get that dog food ready and you pour it in a bowl, a dog that's food aggressive should be tethered to something that can't move. And I'm going to take that bowl and I'm just going to hold it like this. I may set it on the table. I may or hang on to it. But I'm going to kill some time for a while before I put that food down for that dog. How much time? I don't know. It all depends on when I finally see that dog relax. And there's a difference between relax and quiet, right? Quiet, that dog can be perfectly like eyes open and they're just waiting for food, waiting for food, waiting for food. Relaxed is more of a softer head, softer mouth, softer eyes. But I would wait for that dog to relax. And you guys, it might be an hour, it might be 2 hours. But we're working with state of mind, and that needs to be practiced. The more that dog can experience a calm state of mind, the better off it's going to be. No doubt in my mind whatsoever. You guys, one thing I don't like is to put the dish down first and then tell our dog to wait. Okay, go ahead. I'm not a big fan of that. I want that dog to be perfectly relaxed. And you guys, if you go back and look at that video of me feeding all those dogs at the same time, I feed the calmest one first. So for those of you that have a multiple dog household, we're going to kind of intertwine these subjects together. For those of you who have a multiple dog household, I would tether each one of those dogs so they can't reach each other. Get all three, let's say you have 3 dogs, get all 3 of the food dishes ready, put them on the shelf, and wait it out. Wait to see who's the most relaxed first. maybe after 15 minutes, maybe after 20, but they've got to chill out, and that's who gets fed first. And then I'm going to sit back, I'm going to assess the situation, and I'm going to wait a little bit again and see if the excitement level picked up, which it probably is a good chance that it will. And then from there, wait for the other two to relax, and then I'm going to reward that relaxation by putting down the food for the next one. So I'm not giving any commands during this actual exercise at all. I'm just waiting for what's going on up here to chill out, because it takes some time. There's no quick fix to this. You can make a dog quiet pretty easily, but you can't make it relax and you can't make it calm easily. So it's one of those situations. But food aggression, you guys, to me, that structure has to be created, and no more testing. You put down the food, put it down in front of the dog, and you walk away. You're done. That's it. There's no going back in. There's no more testing that dog to see if it's still aggressive. You put the food down, you leave him alone. All right? You leave him alone. You shouldn't... I understand the whole aspect, especially, Shelby, with you having a little one and the dog eating and the little one goes over around that dog food. I mean, that's just a nightmare waiting to happen. I can't even imagine. It's not good to think about. So in that case, that dog needs to be crated when it's fed. I mean, it's bad. I don't even want to have that thought in my head of what could happen around a little one. But anyways, so there we are with training multiple dogs and food aggression. Kind of, you guys see how they kind of intertwine. And then, so Melanie Riddle, I believe, asked a question about better leash walking. So by better leash walking, I think were her words, my thought was that there might be some aspect of skills going on, but I want you guys to remember, and I was actually talking to a client about this last week, where he said as soon as he opened the drawer where the leashes were, the dog lost it. Like complete chaos, excitement, the dog was like it's, rocket ship bouncing off the walls. Now, to you, the walk hasn't started. To the dog, the walk has started. That's all there is to it. It would be easy for me to say, hey, start to take your dog for a walk. When they misbehave, give it a big correction, right? Because they're not listening, they're not behaving. But that would be very, very inaccurate advice, because I can't see that dog, and giving a correction to a dog that I have no idea what it looks like could be very detrimental in that situation. So I'm going to give you probably, Lauren, and but she just brought up a good point, and this drove me nuts. I remember when I first started to do this. I mean, early on, I was like weeks into it. I saw that long pole with a fake hand on it, because Lauren just wrote, I hate when I see on TV where they test rescued dogs by sticking that fake hand in their bowl. I get it. I understand why they do it. Again, because that baby may be coming over and sticking their hand in, or the kids. To me, feed that dog in a crate, and those should be the instructions. That's all there is to it. Then you don't have to do that test, because that's ridiculous. I don't think I've ever done it once to any of my dogs since I became a trainer. Never. I don't even remember doing it to our dogs growing up as a kid either. I mean, it just didn't seem like the right... I don't even know if the thought even came to my head when I was a kid, but certainly when I started to really sink my teeth into learning about dogs, it just was not one of those things that I even attempted. Because it's, for the sake of a better word, it's dumb to do it. It's truly dumb. I don't know why you want to put your hand in front of an animal that's eating its food that has sharp teeth. Duh. I mean, come on. Anyways, going back to the leash walking, I think it's important to play the long game here instead of the short game. Short game would be take your dog outside when they start to get excited, correct them. Well, I think there's better ways, especially as far as me giving you guys advice. So let's go back to that situation where that dog that was being, where that drawer opened where the leash is and that dog's going crazy. And I'm going to tell you guys the same thing I told that owner. If that dog went crazy to me, as soon as I opened the drawer, I'd shut the drawer and go sit down. So technically, you haven't started taking your dog for a walk yet. Mentally to your dog, you've started a walk. So let's say it's 4 o'clock and you did that. And you opened that drawer, the dog went berserk. I'd close it and go sit down. And I wait a little while till the dog relaxed. So the dog's going to look at you like, what are you doing? This is totally out of routine. I have no idea what's happening. And then when that dog finally relaxes, I get it back up. I go over, I open the drawer again. The dog loses its mind again. I shut it. I go back and I sit down. At this point, your dog's going to be super confused, which is a good thing in my mind because it makes them think. You can tell your dog to sit. Okay, if you have a really strong sit command, you can tell that dog to sit, and that's all well and good. But to me, I want to get that state of mind a little bit deeper. And it's going that extra mile, which is going to help you for a lot longer outside, time frame wise. So you guys, look, if you gave yourself 30 minutes to go for a walk, and every time you go to open that drawer and your dog loses it, and it took 30 minutes, so be it. There's your walk. Your dog's going to learn that it's not getting anywhere with that type of state of mind. And again, it's going to take some time. This isn't a quick fix. But when you start to see the difference of when you open that drawer and it doesn't mean anything to the dog, then it can make a big difference. Now, there is some, counter conditioning that you could do to where if you opened up the drawer, you give your dog a treat. You can try it. I'm not going to tell you not to. I'm always up for people that want to experiment with their dogs and see, as long as they're being fair and patient and understanding, then give it a shot. I'm certainly not going to tell you not to do it. But if you want to counter condition that, you can certainly do that too. Every time you open the drawer, you give your dog a treat. They're going to look at you and they're going to be super focused, right? But that hyper focus or super focus is not going to help you on the walk. Because truly, I feel like better leash walking is going to come down to you controlling a better state of mind before you leave the house. Or the other thing that I think of is maybe that your dog is experimenting with some sort of prey drive, meaning that the dog is always scouring the landscape to see what's going on, which is a problem. If that's what's going on, then you need to get professional help because that's not something that can be solved by most dog owners by any means necessary. So, Melanie, in your case for the dog that is that you need better leash walking, I will in the coming weeks I will try to put up a video on some long line work that was made famous by the Keeler book or the Keeler method of dog training. But it's a really good training technique, super easy to do. Something that I would certainly start in a very low level distraction, if not zero distraction area, with a long line. So it might be 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet, whatever you feel like doing. I think most of our leashes are 12 feet, 12 or 15 that we practice with. So anyways, but I'll try to help you out in that case. But so I've rambled for 30 minutes solid without almost taking a breath. You guys, I've still got room for the shadow program coming up in June. So if you know anybody, if you're interested in that, I've already got a trainer from California coming out to attend that. It should be a lot of fun. And for those of you who saw, I tried to get, my phone does not like the cold weather. I tried to get the live video of Boss meeting my two dogs today. I was kind of trying to do it live on here, but my phone kept turning the app off when I was out in the cold, so it was just not working well at all. I think there was a couple questions that I might have seen. Alyssa, so you had asked if the dogs need different obediences. Then you just got to do what you've got to do to try to match things up. I mean, it's going to take some time, but it's definitely something that can be done. I've been teaching Zeus. Era, I wouldn't give him the command. So she wrote, where is it? I've been teaching Zeus to back away and sit down before I put down the food. When I put it down, I walk away and he waits until I tell him to go to it. And to me, you guys, that's a release word when it comes to eating. And a lot of times release words are exciting. You know, it's like they're waiting and waiting and they're like itching to go and itching to go. And then all of a sudden they hear go ahead or free or it's okay. And I found in my experience that 9 times out of 10, that's what's causing more excitement and causing dogs to eat quickly and very intensely than not. So the only difference I would do there, Era, I would fill that dog food dish with whatever size meal, then I would wait. When that dog finally relaxes is when I take the dish, I put it down right in front of them, literally almost under their chin, and walk away. I'm done. That's all there is to it. Sherry, how would you train the dog to know it is not acceptable, maybe while playing with a toy and a child walks by, if it were possibly food aggressive, to not guard that toy? Just worried about Shelby's child. You guys listen, I can't stress this enough. When the dog is out playing, the kids have to be kept away, all right? I mean, you got to think safety first here. You're dealing with a dog that's been making probably some unhealthy choices. That's all there is to it. And when the dog is put away is when you can get the kids out with their toys. But you need professional help here. You really do, to control that situation, especially with a baby coming. It's just one of those things, you guys. I can't stress that enough. And I can't diagnose what's going on with that dog right now either. All I can, when we hear food aggression, or treated or resource guarding. That dog needs some work. That dog needs to have its world flipped upside down a little bit and taught some manners when it comes to that kind of stuff. I mean, I can't stress that enough. Kathleen, it's challenging when we are dealing with any unwanted dog mindset behavior. I have to work on me and my body language, tone, reactions, timing, and having a calm state of mind myself, which sometimes something takes time and there is no quick fix by slapping a tool on their neck. Yep, I'm all for tools that are conditioned and used properly and are the right choice for your dog. I have a Malinois that helps me be a better person while working with him. Love the breed. Thanks for all you do to help dogs. Oh, wow, Kathleen, you're very welcome. Very, very welcome. Yep, there's a lot that goes into it, that's for sure. Alyssa, is there a way to have each of my dogs to keep to their own dishes? Neither are aggressive at all. When feeding, but they try to swap their dishes. Tether them. Tether them where they can't reach each other's dishes. That's all there is to it. Wait till they're both done. Pick up the dishes, put them away, and then untether them. Easy fix. Easy peasy. So, you guys, I've kind of been thinking, I'm going to leave this for the evening with a half special announcement. I can't tell you how many emails I get and how many requests I get about people that want to come and just like watch me for a day or shadow me or be at work for a day. So I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking about, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do it. Alyssa, if they don't always finish, then the food gets put away. The food and the dishes have to be taken care of before they're untethered. Anyway, so this is what I'm thinking. And I know you guys are going to be all for this, but I've got to think about it logistically on my end. I'm thinking about doing giveaways. Something that you guys have to work for. I don't know. This is the other part that I have to think about. But I'm thinking about having a giveaway of sorts, which would be a day with us, with training, with the dogs, that kind of thing. I mean, there's so much information that we put out there anyways. It's not anything that's going to, not anything I'm worried about, I guess you could say. That's just the easy way to say it, but anyways, it's just something I'm thinking about. The other thing that I'm thinking about too, you guys, is maybe doing a workshop in Pennsylvania, probably either late fall or next year. Like I said, maybe a 2 or 3 day workshop. So I'd love to get your information on that or your opinion. So if it's something that you'd be interested in, just write workshop yes, workshop no. I just want to see if there's interest out there. Wouldn't be that expensive at all. There'd be certain spots probably where you could bring your dogs, and then certain spots where it's just people coming to watch and observe and stuff. But so kind of got some things in the hopper here, I guess you could say. Plus, I will be doing a workshop, a one-day workshop, myself and Paula Bergeron in New Hampshire, I think in July, which will be a lot of fun too. But we'll be creating an event page for that, and that's going to be dirt cheap. Seriously, dirt cheap. So for those of you in the New England area, did you hear me? Dirt cheap. That's for sure. Lauren, eventually when you guys get warm weather, we are going to bring the RV. Oh, hell yeah. Oh my gosh. That would be amazing, Lauren, if you guys made it up here. That would be a blast. So anyways, you guys, exciting stuff coming up. I've yacked here for quite some time, so I think we're going to call it a night, but yeah, Tanya, Alyssa, yeah. So anyways, you guys, that's kind of my mindset. I'm always out for helping you guys out and giving you some information. So I'll figure out the giveaway idea. I know you guys are all for it, but again, I have to figure out how it's going to work for me logistically. And plus, I got to make you guys work for it somehow. So I don't know if I'm going to do some sort of contest or what I'll do, but we'll figure it out. So anyways, you guys have a great evening. I'll be back Monday night, next Monday night, 8:15. Now, Boss, the dog that I'm going to be working with, will be starting basically his real sessions tomorrow. So I may be jumping back on live during the day, or you'll see some of the stuff on the Dog Trainer Daily stuff on YouTube. So either way, you'll be able to track his progress. I've got him for a couple of weeks, so for those of you that jump on board and watch him early on, you'll see the whole process of what I'm going to be doing to train him right from the word go. So his owners are requesting that I do some e-collar work with him, and I think for the time being, just to start, because I've got the time, I'll show you guys how to start to institute some recall without the e-collar, because I get a lot of requests for that as well. So just a leash and some treats, and that's it. And a camera and a tripod and a microphone for you guys. So, but that's it. You guys have a great night. Thank you for all of you that like to jump on and listen and kind of support what I do. You guys really give me a lot of motivation to do this. I used to think that I have to keep all this secret, these the dog training stuff, and do the before and after. But the fact is, the more that I show you guys, the busier I get at work, which you would think that doesn't make a lot of sense. But it's just one of those things. So you guys, 2018 is going to be a year of me pumping out some major content for you guys, and for you guys to see the actual work aspect of things, not just before and after stuff. I want you guys to see that there's real dog training going on. Sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's exciting. The progression is fun, and I don't know, it's just, obviously I enjoy what I do. So you guys have a wonderful evening. We will see you next week. Have a good night. Take your dog for a walk. It's spring. And we'll see you soon. Good night.